Hey everyone, this video will be a demonstration of how to set up multi-node Hadoop cluster in AWS EC2. I would like to include entire process in a single video, so this is going to be a little lengthier video. If you don't have an AWS account already, you can create one for free by going to aws.amazon.com. I have also included the link in the video description on how to create AWS account for free. Without any further ado, let me start the video. Go to aws.amazon.com where you will find an option for creating a new account or sign into the console. I have already created an account. I can click on the sign into the console. In the browser, I have already logged in, so it would take me directly to the AWS management console. So the first step is to create instances or virtual machines using AWS. So the virtual machines are called EC2 instances. So here we have an option in the board itself to build a solution, launch a virtual machine. So we can go directly to launch a virtual machine option here and launch a VM. Or the actual process is to select services on the left top, and from there go to compute and select EC2 where it has already provided at virtual servers in cloud. Select that option. It will redirect us to the EC2 management console. In this EC2 console on the left hand, select instances. We will see all the running instances here. As we don't have any instances, click on launch instances. The first step is to choose the operating system. So here we need to choose any operating system that has free tier eligible on it. So here this has free tier eligible. As I'm using this for Hadoop, I will see if Ubuntu server has free tier eligible. So I have Ubuntu server available here and free tier is eligible for this server. So I will select this. If we are selecting any other server than free tier eligible, we will be charged for how much we are using. So I will select this Ubuntu server in the step 1 and click on next. And here we need to choose the instance type. We have many instances like nano, micro, small, medium, large. Even in the instances, only micro instance is available for free tier. So I will select micro instance here because if I select any other instance than micro, I will be charged. This micro instance will be having a virtual CPU of 1 and memory of 1 GB. And this 1 GB is enough for installing and setting up Hadoop. But in real-time use cases, we might need something better than 1 GB. So as I am doing it for learning purpose, 1 GB is good enough for us. So I have selected a micro instance and I will go to configure instance details. So here I need to select the number of instances. As I am creating 4 nodes here, one node is for name node and the other one is for secondary name node and the other one is for data node 1 and data node 2. So I need 4 instances. So I'll give 4 here and rest of the details can be left as is, but we have an option here for subnet. There is no preference is selected. I can go ahead and select some subnet so that all these 4 instances will be created in the same region. If I leave this as default, like without any preference, there might be a chance that these 4 instances can be launched in different regions. So I would like to launch all the 4 instances in the same region. So I will select an option for subnet. You can select any one of the options available for subnet. And I will leave rest of the options left as is. So we have many options here. So I'll go to adding storage in the next step. So the default storage provided here is 8 GB. If 8 GB is not enough for you, we can give more memory, or you can also add new volume here. If you add new volume, it will show the details of the new volume here. But for me, 8 GB is enough. I don't want to add new volume. I will go ahead and remove this and go to next add tags. Tag is very important to identify the instance in our cluster. Like if we have multiple instances of EC2 running and we need to identify which instance for is used for what purpose. So I will name this instance as name, this tag as name and give it Hadoop. So all these 4 instances will be coming with the name Hadoop. So later on I can change the name to name node, data node and so on. In the next step, we need to configure the security group. So I will give all traffic among the available security groups so that my cluster will be uh, available for testing. So I don't want any additional securities among these to be selected. Let me go with all traffic. So the instances will be available for testing from any nodes. So I'll review and launch. Here we will see all the options that we have selected until now. Review all the options and see if there is something incorrect selected. If there is something wrong, we can go to previous and change these things. I'm good with everything and I'm going ahead with the launch. This is the very important step here. So we need to create a key pair and download the key pair into our local machine, so that by using that key pair we will access the instances that are created at this point. So I will give a name for this key pair abc and download the key pair, and make sure that you save this key pair in your machine. So without this key pair we will not be able to access the instances. So I already have a key pair, so I will go into the existing key pair. This name of the key pair is Hadoop. I will select the acknowledgement and launch the instances. So make sure it is selected properly. Okay, now I'll launch my instances, and my instances are getting launched. You can see the status that your instances are now launching. So I'll go and see the instances. So click on view instances. It will take us to the dashboard from where we can see all the instances that are uh, up for running. So the instances are still getting launched. Once these instances are launched, we can see the pending state change to running. So now we can see the details of the instance, like instance ID, public IPv4 address, private IPv4 address, and public IPv4 DNS. This public IPv4 DNS is used to access this instance from any other nodes. A combination of this IPv4 DNS and the private key file which we created earlier is used for accessing this node. And we can see all the instances are now running. And there is one more step, that it has to complete the status checks also. So there will be certain number of status checks for all the instances that we are launching. So the status checks are still initializing. Once the initialization is complete, it will pass the checks. By the time, let me rename the instances. I will give this as my name node. I will rename my other instances as secondary name node SNN. So SNN here stands for secondary name node, and the other node as data node. To be precise, I will give it as data node 1, and the last node will be named as data node 2. So now that we have 4 nodes, and these 4 nodes can be used to set up a multi-node Hadoop cluster. So now that all these status checks are passed, so the next step is to make sure that name node can access all these 3 other nodes. So I said you earlier that we need that the key pair to access any of these instances from our machine. In the same way, for the name node, the first selected node, for this name node to access any of these 3 nodes, that key pair is to be present in this name node. So if we have that key pair in our local machine can access all of these 4 missions. If that key pair is present in the name node can access the rest of the 3 missions. So what we need to do is that we need to copy that key pair to this name node. So for copying the key pair, let me first locate the key pair in my mission. So in my local mission, let me move to the desktop folder, and I'll do an ls here. So the name of the key pair is hadoop.pem. This pem file has to be copied to the name node. The name node address is, the name node DNS is this thing, and the username for this name node is Ubuntu. So what I will do is I will do scp. Scp is used to copy the file from one file from our local machine to the any of the EC2 instance. scp minus I. We will, after minus I, we need to give the this pum file name. So hadoop.pem. So until here it is used to access that mission, access the instance. So next we need to give the name of the file that we are trying to copy to the remote location. I mean the remote location is the name node. So the name of the file is also hadoop.pam, and we will give the address of the remote location. The address is username ubuntu at the DNS. Okay. Ubuntu at the IPv4 DNS. So, and followed by this I will give the location where it has to be copied. In that I will copy it to the root folder. So I will give s, and you can see that file is copied 100%. Now we can go to the name node and check if the file is copied already to that name node. So I opened 4 terminal tabs here, so that in one terminal, in this first terminal I will access name node. In the second terminal I will access secondary name node. In the third terminal I will access data node 1, and here data node 2. So I'll make sure you keep this understanding in mind, so that you will not get confused. So I'll, from this first terminal tab, I'll create an SSH connection to my name node. So in order to create that connection, so what we need to do is that ssh -i hadoop com. So before this ssh -i, it's in desktop folder. Followed by ubuntu at the address of the name node. So the address of the name node is this one. So I'll click on enter. So now that we are in this name node IP 172.31.15.6, we can see that IP 172.31.15.6 stands for the IPv4 address. I mean the private IPv4 address of the name node, the first node, name node. Now that we are connected to the name node, and I will do an ls here, and we can see that the hadoop.pum file is already located in this folder. So we copied from our our local machine to this name node. So the hadoop.pum file is present in this name node. So the next activity is that, so let us let us connect via SSH to the all the other instances also. So SSH now that I logged into the name node, secondary name node, data node 1 and data node 2. So these nodes are not yet configured as name node or secondary name node or data node 1 and data node 2. We need to do all the steps going forward. So I'm just telling that this node will be set up as name node, and this node will be used as our secondary name node, and these two nodes will be used as our data nodes. So, and we will go ahead and do the setup here. So before setting up, we need to change the host file. So, and this has to be done in all our missions, all our nodes. So what we do is sudo vi, and we need to edit this host file. So our host file will have the local host already. So we need to change in a way that it will have, so for our node node, this is the IPv4 address, and I will edit. I'll remove this first line, IPv4 address followed by the DNS. I'll copy the IPv4 DNS, and I will save this host file. The same activity has to be done in all the other nodes. So done. This first step is done. So we have set up, updated the host file, and in all our missions, let us update the operating system with latest available patches in all the nodes. So for this, we do sudo apt get update, and So we run this command so that it will update the operating system in all the nodes. Don't worry about the command. So I will provide you a link to the Medium blog where I have added all these commands that I used in this installation process, all the steps, all these commands, so that you can go there and you can copy all these commands from there, because it would be tough for you to identify or read from this video and copy and paste it. What I'll do is I'll copy all these commands maybe in the description, and I'll also provide a link to the Medium blog where you can find all these commands. So the OS is getting updated with all the available patches in all these 4 nodes. So once this OS is updated, I will go and install Java in all these missions. So these missions are very fresh for us, like as we bring a new laptop or buy new laptop from store, these missions are very similar to those new missions. So everything we need to do here, we need to install everything from the very beginning. Before Java installation itself, we need to reboot all the instances as we have updated the OS. So I'll select all the instances and go to instance state and reboot instance. Select reboot. So it will restart all the instances and instances will be fresh and it will have all the OS updated. Now we can go ahead and install Java in all the missions one by one. Now we go ahead and install Java in all the nodes. For installing Java, the command is sudo apt get install. I will select the OpenJDK 8. I'll copy this command and run it in all the nodes. So I pasted in secondary name node and then now in data node 1, and I'll try the same in data node 2 as well. So it's not pasting. Let me copy again. Okay, now it's downloading Java in all the missions. So once the Java installation is complete, then it's time for us to start installing Hadoop in all our nodes. So the installation is complete in 3 nodes and only data node 2, and now it is done in all the nodes. It's time to install Hadoop in all the missions now. I'll go ahead and now find the link to the Hadoop from the Apache website. Hadoop.apache.org, and we can click on download and we can find the latest available versions. So you can download from the mirror site or directly from the Apache. Click on that and go to Hadoop 3.2.2. I'll right click and copy the link from Apache website. So you can select whatever the version that you feel comfortable in using Hadoop. So I selected 3.2.2, or you can select 3.3 or whatever, it's up to your wish. So run the wget command and copy paste the link. So I need to open this. Sorry, I need to open this and select the tar Hadoop 3.2 tar file. Copy this link, not the previous one. So it's downloading. Do the same in all these missions. So Hadoop is getting downloaded in all these missions. So now Hadoop is downloaded into this mission. So what we can do is we can extract the tar file. The command will be tar xvzf followed by the file name which we downloaded just now. This has to be done in all these missions. We'll copy the entire command to do it in the other nodes. So the tar file is getting extracted. So what I'll do is I'll do ls here. So this is where our Hadoop is located. I will rename this to Hadoop, just Hadoop. So this command is used to rename the folder. It's basically move command. So now I'll do ls. So now we can see that Hadoop 3.3.3.2.2 is renamed to Hadoop. Do the same activity in our rest of the 3 nodes. So now we renamed our Hadoop 3.2.2 to Hadoop. Now the next thing is we need to update the bash rc file in all the nodes. Yeah, it is very similar to how we do it in our Mac or Linux or Windows machine. We need to update, and like in Windows machine it will be the environment variables. In the Mac or Linux it will be the bash rc, which contains the environment variables. So come to the end, go to insert mode, and we need to export the Java home. The Java will be located at user not bin, it will be in lib folder, user lib jvm java 8 openjdk amd64, and the other export we need to do is Hadoop home. So Hadoop will be located at this location. You remember we named Hadoop 3.2.2 to Hadoop. That's the location. And we also need the Hadoop conf. And the Hadoop conf will be in conf folder inside Hadoop home. Now the final one that we need is to set up the path. Path would be path followed by Java home followed by Hadoop home and bin inside Hadoop home. Click on escape and save this file. Before clicking enter, let me check these things again. Java home is user lib Hadoop home, Hadoop conf, and path. Before exiting, I'll copy so that I'll use the same in all the other nodes. And one more thing that we need to do is we need to source this file. So that our environment variables will get refreshed. Once all the installations are done, we can run the Hadoop command and check if the I ran Hadoop and it's able to identify the usage of Hadoop. It means that Hadoop is successfully installed in all these machines. I will check the other machines also. So I can see that Hadoop is installed in all these machines. Now we need to configure which mission should be used as name node, which mission should be used as secondary name node, and what are all the data nodes. We need to configure all these settings. So before configuring all the Hadoop related settings, we need to set up passwordless SSH on the servers. For setting the passwordless SSH, for the name node to connect to the data node and any other nodes, it should not ask for any password. For setting that, we need to generate the key. We call it as RSA key. So we use that SSH keygen for generating the key. So enter the file, we can save it in the same location, give enter, and enter is it's asking to enter passphrase. I will give enter without entering anything, so that it will be without any password. We'll click enter again. So the key is now generated and the public key is now saved as rsa.id rsa.pub in this location. So what we need to do is we need to copy this from this particular name node to all the other nodes. So what I'll do is scp -i hadoop.pom followed by the key and the details of the other nodes, ubuntu at this second node. So the DNS of the secondary node is this one, followed by I will copy it to the same location. Yes. So it has copied this RSA file to the name node to the secondary name node. So the same thing I will do. I will copy this same file from, same key file from this node to the other two nodes, which are the data nodes. We just need. Now do the same activity for the remaining node. So don't get confused with these commands. These commands I will add in the description. You can just copy and paste by editing your DNS. Now that the RSA key is available in all the nodes, what we have to do now is that we have to add this rsa.pub to the authorized keys in all these nodes. To do that, we will run command called cat followed by the location of the ssh file .ssh.pub. Cat this and copy this to authorized keys. So this is done. It should show you an empty thing if it is successfully copied. Do the same activity on all the nodes. So you should not get any error anywhere. It means that the keys are successfully copied to the SSH. The authorized keys. And next activity is that we need to update the config file in SSH in the name node. From the first node, in this node itself, we need to do an activity. That is, go to this SSH and there is a file called config. If not, it will create one. In that file, add all these nodes like the name node, secondary name node, data node 1 and data node 2. So you need to provide host and node and give the host name. Host name as node, right? We need to give the host name of the first thing. Like copy it. This is the host name and user for the name node. So the user is Ubuntu and identity file. So this is the identity file, and as we copied this identity file to all the nodes, and the identity file will be same for all the nodes. So the next thing is we need to add secondary name node host snn would be this one. Next thing is data node 1. Name would be the DNS of the data node 1. Remember that this activity is needed only in the name node, not in the all the nodes. So I'll mention which are all the activities that to be performed in the name node and what are all the activities that need to be done in all the nodes. So now that we have added all the 4 hosts, so that our name node will be able to connect to all these nodes without any password. Like it will use this identity file and connect to all these nodes. And save this file. And we need to create the data directories in all the nodes. For creating data directories, use mkdir. So do mkdir. The path would be, I will give as, I will create something called Hadoop, and inside it I will do HDFS and data. So I'll use the same path for all the other nodes also. So change the now we change the ownership of this path also. So let us run these 2 commands in now we need to modify the config files located in Hadoop home etc Hadoop. The first file that I am going to modify is hadoop.env.sh. So what I will do is I will update all these files in my name node itself, and I will copy all these files from my name node to the other nodes like secondary name node and the data nodes. So in hadoop env.sh, in this particular file we need to update the Java path. So click VI and you will find an option to export Java home. This user lib Champion. So now we are done with this file. The next file that we need to update is core site. So the file name is core site.xml, not sh. So let me quit. Okay, we will see something like this when we open the core site. And inside the configuration we need to add something called default file system. So click on and go to insert mode, enter, get tab space, and we need to add property tag. And after that we need to give property name, and the property name would be fs dot default fs. So it will select the default file system. So and the value of this property is, so the default file system would be hdfs followed by the DNS of the name node. So DNS of the name node would be selected name node, and I will find the DNS here. So DNS is this one. I copied the DNS followed by port 9000. So this is the only property that we need to set in the core site.xml. So I'll go ahead and save this file. Once the core site.xml is set up, we'll go to the other one called HDFS site. So once again, I would like to repeat that. Don't get confused with all these comments and all these paths. I will put all these paths in the description so that you can copy and paste from the description to your missions when you are setting it up. Same thing under configuration, create property tag, and we need to add two properties here. One is a replication and the other property is the DFS name directory. So the important property, the name of the property is DFS replication, and the value is, I'll select 2 as my replication. I'm good with 2 as my replication factor as of now. So we have set one property, and for the other property, the other property would be DFS. So if you don't know what are all the properties that we can additionally use here, you can go to the Apache website and find everything there. The name node name directory would be the local machine. Like we are doing this property in the local machine, so it would be in the local machine itself. So we have added two properties in the hdfs site.xml, and the hdfs site.xml is good now that we need only two properties here, and I am adding only mandatory properties in this setup. If you need additional properties, you can go check the uh, Apache website and add other properties whichever may be of your interest. And the next file that we need to edit is mapred site.xml. We only need one property here, just the mapred framework name. The mapred framework name is, I will put an here, but if you want any other framework to be used, you can add those also. And we are good with the mapred site.xml also. Now we need to edit the and site.xml. So this would be our last xml file. As we have defined in our mapred site that our resource, our framework name to be an, we need to modify our and site.xml. So we need to add some more settings here. So once we open the and site, it will be something like this. Then add property, add a property tag, and the property name would be an node manager AUX services, and the value is we use map red shuffle here. And we also need one more property to define the location of our resource manager, I mean the host name. So the property name is an resource manager host name. So the value here would be name node. So that's it. So we have edited all these files. Now we need to move these files into all our nodes, like the secondary name node and the two data nodes. So for doing that, I will move to this location. I will change my path so that it would be easier for me. And from here, I will run the scp command. Copy all these files to Ubuntu user for the other nodes. The second node DNS is this one. We need to give path also here. We give the same path. So these files are copied to one node, and we need to execute the same copy command to the other node also. The other node is the data node. Copy it and the last one is the other data node. So now that the configuration files are copied to our secondary name node on the two data nodes. Now the next step is that in the name node on the secondary name node, we need to edit two files. So one file is the masters file, the other file is the slaves file. What this masters file tells is that it contains the DNS of the master node, and I mean name node and the secondary name node. And the slaves file will contain the DNS of the data node 1 and data node 2. So let us now edit the masters file. So masters file will be in the same location. Vi run this, and it is empty now. So the first line should be the DNS of the name node. So select the name node, copy its DNS and paste it here. And the second line would be the DNS of the secondary name node. Whenever I say DNS, I actually mean the public IPv4 DNS. So this is our name node, and this would be our secondary name node. So I saved it, then edit the slaves file. So slaves file should contain these two data nodes, data node 1 followed by the IPv4 of the data node 2. That's it, we can save it. So the master and slaves file are edited in the name node. So in the data node, so we can leave the master's file as empty, and we only need to add the data in the slaves node. And even in the slaves file, we need to mention only the uh, only one slave file. So for example, so I need to copy this masters and slaves to the this location, I mean the secondary name node. So I will run scp masters slaves one to what the DNS of the secondary name node. So we need to give the path. So masters and slaves is copied to secondary name node. Both are the name nodes, we need to have the same information in both of the nodes. And the slaves file, this is data node 1. The data node should only contain the data node 1 as a slave. And in the data node 2, we should give only the DNS of the data node 2. So that's it. We have configured that. We have configured the name node, data node, and secondary name node. So let us start our Hadoop demos. So first thing is we format the name node, Hadoop name node format. So it is done. Then we will start the DFS. For starting the DFS, go to Hadoop home and sbin. There we will find start dfs.sh. So says that it's starting name node, it's starting data nodes, it's told that it is starting secondary name nodes. So one more thing we can do is we can start an to start the resource manager and node manager. We can use JPS to check the running services. So it says that name node is running, data node is running, resource manager and node manager are running. We can also run the JPS command in the data nodes. So to stop everything, we can run stop all.sh. So it will stop all the running Hadoop services. This is how we create a multi-node Hadoop cluster in AWS. If you find this video useful, please click on the like button and subscribe to my channel. I'll be adding more content related to big data and its related tech stack. Thank you. Thanks for watching.